The Prime Minister has outlined what he's calling a 5-point plan for responding to American tariffs if he is re-elected. Obviously, we have been following the markets throughout the day. We've seen the Dow Jones plummet, we've seen the Nasdaq take a big hit as well, and including other markets around the world, particularly in Europe. It's causing all sorts of headaches for trade, people working out their responses as we go to air still. One of those trying to work out exactly what it means for Australia is Don Farrell, the Trade Minister. He joins us from Canberra. Minister, good morning.
Good morning, James and Emma.
Australia has a lot of critical minerals. America wants critical minerals. Are we going to use them as a negotiating tactic to try to get this 10% tariff taken off as soon as possible?
We are, James. Australia is often described as the lucky country, and when it comes to critical minerals and rare earths, Australia is again a lucky country. We either have the most or the second most reserves of critical minerals in the world. And of course, we think we can provide those minerals to all of those countries that are part of the net zero project. We've reached agreement with the Europeans, so we couldn't get an agreement with the Europeans on a free trade agreement, but we did get an agreement with the Europeans on critical minerals. You will have seen President Trump talk about Greenland, talk about the Ukraine in the context of access to critical minerals. Well, we've got them right here. We've got the technology to extract them. We're one of the most efficient countries in the world for the extraction of minerals, and we can do the same for those critical minerals. And of course, we can process them here. This government, as part of our Made in Australia policies, we believe we can process those minerals. So we think we can be a reliable supplier of those minerals into the future. And as the Prime Minister said yesterday, he'll be making some more comments and some more statements about what we propose to do in this critical mineral space.
Sure. I just want to take you back then to the actual tariff that the US is putting on Australia. How confident are you that this could be reversed, if not within weeks, then within months?
Well, this is a difficult issue to deal with. I suppose the first point to make is that as a result of the decision yesterday, Australia is in the bottom rung of those countries affected by tariff.
Everyone's targeted. I just sort of wanted to ask though, do you think that Australia can get it reversed? Or is this a situation where everyone's copying it and we just have to deal with it?
No, we haven't given up, and certainly the comments that we have made to the United States and the comments that have come back from them is that they are still prepared to talk with us about this issue, and we will continue to negotiate with them with a view to removing all of those tariffs. Remember this, James. When we came to government 3 years ago, we had $20 billion worth of tariffs and impediments imposed upon us by the Chinese government. Over that 3 years, bit by bit, we managed to remove all of those impediments and all of those tariffs to the point where the last of the products were crayfish, and just before Christmas last year, we got the ban removed on crayfish.
Yes, I remember that lovely press conference with you holding the crayfish. Are you any wiser? Are you any wiser as to why Norfolk Island got a tariff of 29%, or why the Heard and McDonald Islands, which are home only to wildlife and are uninhabited, were also singled out?
Yes, poor old penguins. Don't know what they did to Mr. Trump, but. Look, I think it's an indication, to be honest with you, James, that this was a rushed process. I mean, you think about this. The trade system that America has, until yesterday, been working on had been built up since the Second World War. The Americans had been great beneficiaries of that system, and there was a series of agreements that were in place with all countries that traded with the United States. In the space of 4 weeks, the American president has upended that process. So I think it was inevitable that mistakes would be made, and particularly including Norfolk Island with a 29% tariff. It's part of Australia. It should be subject to a 10% tariff. So these are some of the things we're going to go back to the Americans with, because it's clearly a mistake. But it also reflects the fact that this has been a rushed process.
Yeah. What did you make of the way tariffs were actually calculated by using the trade deficit and then dividing it? I mean, there has been widespread mockery of the use of that.
Yeah, well, look, if you did apply that in the case of Australia, James, of course we have the Americans have a trade surplus with us. They sell us a lot more, in fact double what we sell them. So it made no sense at all to apply that system to Australia. We should have been exempt. We sell all of our product into the United States tariff-free, and we accept all of the American products that come to this country tariff-free. So we should not have been subject to any tariff at all, and that's the argument we're going to continue to prosecute with the Americans.
Just before I let you go, Minister, your nickname was, or at least might still be, the Godfather. There was a time when you were dubbed a faceless man because of your role in factional politics. I only mention this not to bring up history, but to illustrate that you've got a very good handle of what works during election campaigns and what wins votes and what doesn't. From a purely political point of view, do you think that this helps the incumbent Labor Party heading into a federal election?
Look, James, this doesn't help Australian farmers, doesn't help Australian winemakers, doesn't help Australian miners.
Does it help Labor politicians?
No, well, you know, we don't seek to get any benefit out of what the United States has done to us yesterday. We want that reversed. You saw what we did with China. We had that $20 billion worth of tariffs removed. That's exactly what we want to do with the United States. I guess my concern yesterday, you talk about negotiations, was when the opposition leader threw in our national security and our defence issues as part of this process. I think that's a very dangerous way to go, James, and we certainly won't be going down that track. We'll sit down, we'll negotiate, but we're not going to risk our national security. Can I tell you that?